part of the Press Play Podcast Network.
And welcome to another edition of the Ray Guy and Rhoda podcast here on the Press Play Podcast Network, powered by MGM Northfieldpark. Northfieldpark is your home for live and simulcast racing, free admission, free parking every day at Northfieldpark. And Michael Ray Guy, we're taping this late on a Sunday night because the Browns were on national TV in a rivalry game, and Harbaugh's 2. The state of Ohio, nothing this weekend as Michigan kicked the crap out of Ohio State on Saturday afternoon. And then the Ravens win an ugly football game on Sunday night, 16-10 over the Browns, dropping Cleveland to 6-6. The Ravens improved to 8-3, best record in the AFC, Michael.
Yep, best record in the AFC, and the quarterback threw 4 picks tonight. But Kenny Rhoda, I don't know. I've been watching football at all levels and, playing football. I don't ever remember, a football team that you can recall that intercepted their opposing quarterback 4 times and didn't win the game?
Michael, it's funny you bring that up, and let me pull up my Twitter account here because somebody tweeted out a stat, and I retweeted it. It was Jake Trotter on Twitter. He says, since 2015, starting quarterbacks are 0-37 when throwing 4 interceptions in a game per ESPN stats information. So what are you looking at? 6-7 years since it's happened. This is the first time that a quarterback's thrown 4 picks in a game and still won the game. And of course it happens against the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, there you go. That in of itself is just almost just incomprehensible. But Kenny, again, there you go. And all night long throughout the first half, on the Twitter, and I normally would agree, well, Stefanski's awful. Van Pelt, the Browns got to run the football. They got to run the football with Chubb and him. Yeah, well, sure. And I will say, 85% of the time I'd agree with that. The Browns didn't run the football worth a damn tonight. They ran the football for 40 yards tonight. And 25 that came in the second half. Again, I know some quarterback sacks take away, but 40 yards rushing, Ken. I mean, now, again, and as we know, the Browns right now, as far as their pass game and what they have going on, and just offensively, what they have going on, it's frustrating as hell, man, because it's not good right now. Kenny, do you know in the last 7 football games, do you know what the Cleveland Browns have averaged point-wise?
In the last 7, I do know this.
7 football games, and that includes includes 41-point outburst against Cincinnati.
Okay, go ahead. Give me the average then, including that outburst. Go ahead.
Including that outburst, they're averaging 16 points a game. Now, how the hell many football games are you going to win in the NFL averaging 16 a game? But can you take out the Cincinnati game and the other 6? They're averaging 11 points a game.
Michael, if that doesn't point to a switch at quarterback because somebody's playing hurt and can't give you what he normally can give you, I don't know what does. For me, and you know this, I've said it, and again, and you know what? He's not using it as an excuse. So 16-10, Michael, I wrote it down, 16-10. Browns are losing, 1:10 left, no timeouts. Start at your own 25-yard line. Show me franchise quarterback, $40 million wannabe man. Show me a game-winning drive like other quarterbacks have done in similar situations. And they gained 8 yards, Michael, and turned it over on downs ball game. And Baker Mayfeild, I'm sorry. He can tell me all he wants to tell me about how, no, I'm good to play. No, Kevin, this is as much on Stefanski as it is on Baker Mayfeild by continuing to trot him out there and averaging 11 points per game in those 6 out of the 7 games you talked about. They had one good game. That was it. It's time for the Browns at 6-6 to sit Baker Mayfield down, let Case Keenum play, or you know what? Maybe they try him one more time thinking they got the bye week next week. So we're going to give him the rest and try him one more time after that. But then, you know what, Michael? If you lose that game at 6-7, your season's over for sure. Tonight, think nail isn't in the coffin. But right now at 6-6, they're ranked 12th in the playoff race in the AFC. 7 teams make the playoffs, okay? So in their schedule, I did the numbers. The teams they play remaining on the schedule are 35, 20, and 1. So their schedule is tough to finish up with. They'll be lucky to win 3 of those games to get to 9 wins if they continue, playing this way. I think it's time to sit Baker Mayfield down and give Case Keenum, you're paying him a lot of money, give him a shot because it ain't working with Baker Mayfield. I'm sorry.
Well, listen, if you want to, if it makes you feel better, and I'm going to augment what you said, partner, make it a nameless, faceless quarterback. How many head coaches are going to stay with a quarterback in an offense that in 6 of the last 7 games is averaging 11 points a game,
right,
without making a move? You know what? If that's what you do, Kenny, that's dereliction of duty.
Yes, you are not putting your team in the best position to win.
There you go.
Bingo. We're thinking the same thing, right?
So I don't care. So say Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers, okay? Or Patrick Mahomes. Those are about the only 3. But then again, I can't see those 3 going 6 of 7 games and averaging 11 a game. But again, that's an exclusive club. I'm sorry. If you're going to go that and put up 11 a game and think you got a shot to win, you're delusional. You're delusional in the National Football League. Yeah. Average 11 a game in 6 games. You think you can win games. Now, so if you're the head football coach, are you putting your team in the best position to win?
No.
Oh, and again, as I said, Kenny is not, Kenny's a little different. Yeah, I want to see Baker succeed. I want to see him. I want to have that belief in him, but it's not happening right now. And it hasn't been happening. So if I'm the head football coach, damn it, no, I'm not sitting here averaging 11 a game. I'm sorry. I don't care who he is. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's Bernie Kosar. I tell you, hey, man, but no, this ain't working. This isn't working. We can't win putting up 11 a game. So, yeah, you damn right this is on Kevin Stefanski because he's allowing this to continue. Or is it because are we talking about his ego? Because we know he's calling all the plays, right?
Right.
He's the offensive guy here. So, hey, Kevin, you know what? If this is it's an indictment on you too, because your offense didn't work, and who you have at the trigger of your offense isn't working, and you might as well throw the other 10 that you put out there on the field too, because none of it is working offensively. It's very frustrating. It's very anemic. It's not an NFL offense right now that's capable of doing things that an NFL offense has to do to win. So I'm not going to sit there and continue to just let it foster, Ken. You got to do something about it.
Michael, what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result? Michael, last 3 games, okay, to take it even a step further. How about this? 7 points, 13 points, 10 points, I believe, right? And
they won one of those games.
And they did
because they played the worst team maybe in National Football League history, the Detroit Lions.
I mean, Michael, at what point does Stefanski realize it's time to cut the cord, pull the plug, make a change, do something different at the quarterback position? It's time. I know his ego is going to be bruised if he gets benched. Okay.
But you're talking about Baker.
Yeah. Baker. I know.
Hey, head coach, you know what? Is that why you're not making a move? Because of your ego? Because everybody knows it's your damn offense and you're calling the plays? Yeah. Well, that's all the more reason for me to want to do something about it then.
Yeah. I've been saying it for weeks, Michael. 4 interceptions Lamar Jackson threw. He threw 4 picks. The defense kept it. Hey, let's give some credit to the defense, even though Baltimore's offense, isn't great right now. Still, the defense kept you in the game. They forced 4 turnovers, right? They forced Baltimore to kick 3 field goals instead of giving up touchdowns. Goal line stand forced them to kick a short field goal. Lamar Jackson and his running, he ran for I think like 65 or 68 yards, whatever it was, something like that. But they did a nice job of keeping him in check. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah did a nice job today. Garrett and Clowney were all over the place, tracking him down, putting pressure on him. And let's be honest, the one was a circus catch and a Hail Mary throw, right? That set up their touchdown. So the defense did everything they could. And you, as the head coach, offensive coordinator, you're going to trot Baker Mayfield back out there? How do you look the rest of that team in the eye and say, I did what was best for the team to win tonight by leaving Baker Mayfield in there? How do you do that in that locker room tonight?
Well, you can't. And remember, what did you and I say last week? I think I brought it up. Don't try to tell me, because especially in the NFL, don't try to tell me there's probably not some, hey, what the hell is going on being said in that locker room by the fellas on the defensive unit, Kenny.
Absolutely.
You and I know there is.
Yep.
It'll come out. You and I know there is. And don't try to tell me now, after this paltry offensive output for the 6th time in 7 games, that this is a unified, the locker room still No, yeah, because there's defensive guys there that are saying we're busting our asses and holding teams, NFL teams, to 16 points and creating and coming up with turnovers, multiple, and we can't win.
Right.
You know it, Kenny. You know, and I know that's happening. That's happening.
Absolutely.
And then that's directed right at the head football coach. Because he's the one, and like I said, for the 3rd time, I'll say it last time. And to top it all off, this is his offensive baby. Let's remember that. The head football coach came in here as the offensive coordinator with the Minnesota. That's his domain, Ken. That's his expertise as a coach in the league, the offensive side of the ball. It stinks.
All right, let's try something here, Michael Regai. This is a podcast, so we can do whatever the hell we want to do. All right, I got my phone, and Kevin Stefanski spoke just a little bit ago, and I'm playing this from Twitter, so hopefully you can hear this. And this is Kevin Stefanski postgame talking about the slumping offense, since we've been talking about it, okay? Let's see if we can pick this up. If not, David, you can do your magic and edit this out, but hopefully this works. Here we go.
Very frustrating to not score enough, and it's always a combination of things. It's staying on the field on 3rd down. It's trying to run the ball effectively, get in the red zone, all those things. But we're just not doing a good enough job, and that starts with me.
All right. So basically, he said they're not doing a lot of things, and it starts with me. I don't know how clear that was, if that came through, if you could hear, but 3rd downs, not staying on the field, not running the ball, not throwing the ball. Michael. Okay, here's what I need to see. If I'm a player in that locker room on defense, I need to see Case Keenum get a shot at running this offense. And if he puts up the same numbers, then I'll know it's not the quarterback position, right? If he goes in there and gets you 10 points, that's what they're averaging over the last 3 games. If he only gets you 10 points, then guess what? You know there are bigger issues than the quarterback. But if he goes out there, think about it, Michael. They score 20 points tonight. They win the game. They've got to give Case Keenum the opportunity to play, give him a chance in fairness to the rest of the players on that team on offense as well as defense. And Kevin Stefanski needs to see that. Yeah, it's a tough pill to swallow if you're Baker, but the betterment of the team is what is most important, not the individual player in Baker Mayfield.
Well, that's correct. And again, it's about, and look, we've talked about it since they lost their first couple of football games. Yes, a world of expectation this year, a world of everyone thinking that this is a football team that's going to go ahead and I'll roll, maybe win 10, 11, 12 games, go deep in the playoffs, hell, maybe even play for an NFL championship as the AFC, winner that gets to the Super Bowl.
Right.
That's fine. But you know what? That comes with success. So the only other thing, are we saying then that a lot of guys in this football team can't handle that, Kenny? Last year, they came, then nobody expected this last year, right? And so then, they had that strong year. But now when all the expectations hit and everything has, multiplied, right? Now, all of a sudden, here we are, we see a 6-6 football team that offensively is a dud and one of the worst in the NFL, and your head football coach runs that offense. Well, to me, before anybody else, again, man, you got to swallow it. You got to put your ego aside, Kevin Stefanski, because no matter what you do, Kevin, this is on you. You're not only the head football coach, but as we said, this is your offense. That's your domain, your ballywick. That is your side of the football. And it's just terrible. It's not NFL winning proficient. And yet you're not going to do anything to try to help that. Well, that's what loses me, Ken. I can work as you just said. If it doesn't work when he makes some changes, hey, then okay. Then this whole thing is wrecked. And in the offseason, you, Kevin, and your whole offense, you're going to have to make big-time changes in how you approach it as well as the personnel. But for now, you can't do that. You can't do that 12 games into a season, but you got to make personnel moves. And Ken, evidently, he's not willing to do that. He's not willing to do it. So that loses me, man. That just flat out loses me because you are not doing and putting your team in the best position to win this way.
Couldn't agree more, Michael Regai. The R&R podcast going to continue. We'll get a break in right now. We'll come back with more, break down the numbers in this game. The Browns are losers, 16-10 to the Ravens. 8-3 Baltimore, 6-6 Cleveland. We'll get into the numbers, the playoff picture with 5 games remaining, who they have left on the schedule, their chances of winning, how many of those games. We're going to dive into all of that when we return right after this.
Hey, it's Tito, host of the Premier Fantasy Podcast. Get all the news and analysis you need to dominate your fantasy league. I've been doing this as long as anybody in the business. I can help give you the edge in your leagues. It's the Premier Fantasy Podcast, part of the Press Play Podcast Network.
Hello, Brooks here with the Books with Brooks monthly book club podcast. Here's how Books with Brooks works. We read one book a month, and then we talk about it. Classics like Stephen King's The Shining, debut novels like We Are the Brennans by Tracy Lang, and tons of other compelling, life-changing stories, one book and 1 month at a time. So come read along with us and then listen in.
Hey, I'm Jason.
And I'm Gary. And if you've ever wondered where you can turn $50 into $5,000 legally outside of Las Vegas, then the sports card market, which is completely insane right now, might be for you.
Join us for the Ball Card Show, the sports podcast for the sports collector.
And we continue with the R&R podcast here on the Press Play Podcast Network. Shout out to our producer extraordinaire, Dave Emmert, making sure you in the podcastosphere are able to grab this podcast, breaking down another Browns boring loss, 16-10, an ugly loss. They win ugly, they lose ugly. So right now, things are not going well for the Cleveland Browns as they could not muster 17 points tonight. They score 17, they win it, but instead they lose it 16-10 at Baltimore. Baker, 18 of 37. That's under 50%. 247 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. He fumbled once. He was sacked twice. You had Juice Landry sacked on a pass attempt, and he fumbled. Lamar Jackson, 20 of 32, 165 yards, 1 touchdown, 4 interceptions, and they still won the game. They sacked him, I want to say, 2 times tonight. Nick Chubb, 8 carries, 16 yards in the loss. Lamar Jackson, the leading ground gainer in this contest, 17 carries, 68 yards. Jarvis Landry, a nice day catching the football, 6 for 111. No touchdowns. David Njoku, 3 catches, 35 yards. He bailed Baker Mayfield out on a horrible throw to catch it for a touchdown. Hollywood Brown, 8 catches, 51 for Baltimore. Mark Andrews, their big play guy, 4 catches, 65 yards, a circus catch, and a touchdown. So there are the individual numbers. Michael, here's what I have as far as miscues tonight by the Browns. Chase McLaughlin misses a field goal on the opening drive of 46 yards. Let's see here. Browns with 2 fumbles. We mentioned them, Landry and Baker. And the Baker one just slipped out of his hands. Drop pass, crucial drop pass on the opening drive by Donovan Peoples-Jones that would have set them up inside the 10-yard line. Instead, they have to kick the field goal, and then they missed the field goal. Let's see here. Penalties, 5 for 45, but the one that caught my eye and pissed me off the most, Michael, is that sequence where Baltimore's punt the ball near midfield. They run a fake punt. They get the first down, but the Browns catch a break, and the play was still dead. So Baltimore still has to punt. And what do the Browns do? They get called for 12 men on the field right after that and give them the first down. There's the things that stood out to me.
No, you're right, and they're not good enough to overcome, inappropriate playing like that. They had back-to-back, even after that first one, then they got hit with 12 men on the field again.
Yeah.
Right after they had a timeout. So, I mean, something's real amiss there, and they're not talented enough where, they can bring their B-, C+ game, Kenny, and expect to win against better teams, and right. I tell you, too, tonight, I mean, and again, look, I know it's going to happen, but the fact that the Browns could not muster a running game whatsoever tonight, that was very disappointing. I don't know how a lot of you fans felt about it to me. And look, Baltimore, we know. Baltimore, they butter their bread defensively. We understand that.
And I think they're number 1 against the rush, too, Reg.
And I understand that. That's what I'm going to say. But Ken, 17 yards in the first half and a total of 40 for the game? With all due to the Baltimore Ravens and, as you just said, where they are, and if you'd told me that before the football game, I would say, number 1, well, the Browns got no damn chance to win, right, if that's what it's going to be. Because we know this, Kenny, the team that run 9 times out of 10, right? I don't care what level of football it is. Big case in point. Look at yesterday in Ann Arbor.
Yep.
Michigan runs the football for 297 yards against Ohio State and dominated.
Bullyballed
them, blew them out. Michigan's offensive line just completely controlled Ohio State's front 7 and ran for 297. Any surprise they won the football game by 2 touchdowns? No. Same thing tonight. So I'm disappointed that yes, Baltimore's very good defensively. But damn it, this is what the Browns are identity-wise. And,
right.
They're not going to, as we saw tonight. How much you think we're going to win if they have subpar rushing nights, Ken? How much
they're not going to win any games.
No. So,
and Baltimore tonight ran for $148 on 43 carries, Michael. Right?
Yeah, they did.
And now, granted, their leading rusher's their quarterback, and he's slippery and fast, and he makes guys miss and everything like that. But still, right. Devontae Freeman, I think it was, 52 yards. Murray had 14. Duvernay had 13 on top, so as a team, 148, the Browns, as you pointed out, 40 yards rushing. So that puts and 4 interceptions for Lamar Jackson. And again, since 2015, 0-37 teams were when their quarterback threw 4 interceptions in a game. Lamar Jackson breaks that streak today as they get the 16-10 win.
Sure. So it's 148 Baltimore, 40 Cleveland in the run game.
Yep.
And the addendum to that, time of possession.
Okay.
Baltimore had the football for 15 plus minutes more than the Browns did tonight. So you're doing that. You're going 3 and out because you can't run the football. Your time of possession is way down from it normally is. You're playing a very good defensive team. You're on the road in their place. There's got to be better than that. Or again, if that's what it is, Ken, then let's not, come on. I mean, you can't cry about if this team completely, melts down by not getting into the playoffs this year.
Right.
I mean, and that's off last year. I get it. Every year's a new year, as we've talked about. Well, this isn't going real well. And the Browns offensively are they're close to being a dud, Ken. I mean, a real pain in the butt. How in the hell does this get fixed? Dud. And Kevin Stefanski, now we're going back to where we started. Got to do something about this. Got to do something about it because they can't win this way, Kenny. They cannot win like this with this type of offensive lack of creativity, lack of numbers, lack of ball possession. They're not going to win this way, not against good teams. So,
well, they've got 2 weeks to try and figure it out, Michael. Since
now they got 2 weeks, huh?
They got the bye, and then they'll play Baltimore.
Baltimore's tough run D again.
Yeah,
right.
At home. There you go. So we'll see here's what they've got left. Bye week. Then they're at home against the 8-3 Ravens on December 12th, 1 p.m. kickoff. Then they're home to the Raiders, who are 6-5. On the road Christmas Day at Green Bay, 9-3. At Pittsburgh, that's a sinking ship. There's your one win at least in these remaining 5 games. Pittsburgh 5-1 got just obliviated today by obliviated. What's I don't even know what they got their asses kicked there. It's easier for me to say it that way. Yeah. They lost 41-10 to Cincinnati in Cincinnati. And then the Browns close it out at home with the Bengals, who are 7-4. So they don't play a team that's under 500 as of right now, the rest of the way in their final 5 games. And Michael, looking at that schedule, they'll be lucky to go 3-2 in those 5. That would be, I think, best case scenario.
And
right?
9-8 ain't gonna get you into the postseason.
Nope, not when I'm looking at all these tiebreakers and all these teams that are the Raiders are ahead of them. So if you lose to them, you lose the tiebreaker, right? Let's see. The Chargers are ahead of them. You already lost to them. Bengals are ahead of them. You did beat the Bengals. I'll give you that. They somehow, some way, they crushed the Bengals. 41
points worth.
Yeah, exactly. So, you've got they've got to go minimum 4-1 to have a chance at the playoffs, in my opinion. Get to 10 wins and then see where everything shakes out.
10-7 possibly could do it. But again, Kenny just mentioned it, and I think you're right. Tiebreaker is going to be involved there.
Yeah.
And right as of now, the Browns are not at the top of the pecking order there. But let's see them get to 10 wins first. Let's see if they can go, that 4-2 in these final 6 games of the year, right? Or excuse me, what is it?
They got to go 4-1, Michael.
Games.
Final 5 left. Yeah.
And
Michael, what did you see tonight that makes you believe they can go 4-1? Nothing at all.
Only thing that is just off, a notion of wanting it to happen.
Right. Maybe other teams get hurt, and you catch a break that way or something. But that's what you're going to need. Again, if you stay with Baker Mayfield, to me, it's not getting done. I think you got to make that change and see if Case Keenum can give you a lift. If not, then as we said, you got bigger fish to fry this offseason with the offense. As the defense has played fairly well the last few games, and they kept you in games and won you, the Detroit game. So there's a lot of looking in the mirror that needs to be done here over the next 2 weeks as you make a stretch run to try and get in the playoffs for the second consecutive year.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And hey, listen, it's very disappointing right now, and it's very frustrating. I know I'm frustrated even talking about it because, regardless, we're all human. You could say a lot of people are going to try to say now, wow, the expectations were way too high for this football team. No, nobody was saying that back in August.
Right.
Everybody felt the Cleveland Browns were one of the top 3, 4, 5 teams in the AFC. I did too. I mean, you look at the roster and you say, well, sure, they're a playoff team. They're going to win 11 football. You took them 11-6, right? I think we both did.
Yes. Yep.
11-6, and that's 11-6 gets you to playoffs. But look, there's warts, Ken. There's a lot of warts, and there's a lot of, and maybe these final 5 football games will help make decisions, right?
Yeah, Michael,
About what's going on.
Let me give you some quotes here from Twitter from our good buddy Scott Petrak, outstanding Browns beat reporter, brownzone.com. Kevin Stefanski said he won't make quarterback change during bye. Asked reporter why he would do that. Okay. Kevin Stefanski said blame him for not getting right number of guys on the field multiple times. That's coaching.
Okay,
it's on me,
fine.
bottom line.
Good. I agree with you there. We are blaming you because that's ridiculous.
Yep. Kevin Stefanski said multiple times he's got to find ways to get guys open when asked about offensive struggles. Kevin Stefanski said he didn't know exact issue, but knows it seems serious. Waiting on an MRI tomorrow with right tackle Jack Conklin. They fear it might be a patella tendon that he tore coming back off that elbow injury, and he went down early in the game. That obviously doesn't help. Baker Mayfeild, some comments from him on Twitter. Still believes they can make a run in the playoffs, have to come out of the bye and take it one game at a time. Cliches. Baker Mayfield, what else did he have to say here tonight? Yada, yada, yada. Yeah, there's that. Need to make more plays and play with more confidence on offense from Baker Mayfield, I guess, post-game today. So
he's saying he's got to play with more confidence, or just
we need to make more plays. We need to play with a bit more confidence.
You're right, Bake.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, all of you.
There you go.
You got to play better. Right. There you go. Because averaging 11 points a game over 6 of the last 7 just isn't of NFL quality offense. So you're right, Baker. Everybody's got to play a whole lot better. And, Kenny, what do you think? We both, but what do you think the temperature of do you think the fan base is going to start to at least realize that, you know what? This isn't looking good right now at 6-6 with an opportunity to get in the playoffs. Not just the Browns going 4-1, but a lot of things. They're still going to need a little bit of help, more likely.
Yep.
Even with that, do you think that maybe there might be some folks maybe looking big picture now and starting to say, I don't know if all this good feeling and this great thought coming into this year, and we were expecting the next 3, 4, 5 years to be challenging for championships. You think that's starting to wane a little bit now with the fan base?
I think it will be with some of the fan base now after going 6-6 through the first 12. I hope it is with the front office and Andrew Berry and Paulie DePodesta and that front office. That front office did not draft Baker Mayfield, right?
Nope.
That front office could sever ties if they want to, even though they picked up his option for next year, or at least bring somebody in to compete with him next year, or make a trade involving him for next year. So Baker Mayfield, he's playing hurt, but hey, I've seen enough over 4 years where at least this much. I'll say this about Baker. I've seen enough through 4 years that makes me believe he's not a franchise quarterback in the National Football League, is not an elite quarterback in the National Football League, and therefore I would explore other options if I was the front office who did not draft him.
Yep. Okay. And then I'm gonna, because as I've also started to take a good hard look, as I've expressed here, at Kevin Stefanski. Yep. Now, this regime did hire him as their head football coach. So do you think that Andrew Berry and DePodesta and that would almost because he's their guy, are they going to give him the supreme pass for this year if this thing goes awry? I sure as hell hope they don't. And I'm not suggesting that they necessarily have to fire him, but they need to tell him, Kevin, man, your stuff isn't working, man. You got to make changes.
Michael,
are they going to do that? Or are they going to give him a pass?
Do you think that they will go to him and say, look, we think you're our head coach, but maybe being the head coach and the offensive coordinator is too much for you. So let's you give up those. Correct me if I'm wrong on this one. Did Jim Harbaugh not give up play calling duties now for the Michigan Wolverines this year? As they made some changes, and look where they are. They're ranked number 2 in the country, just whooped Ohio State's ass, and have a great chance of beating Iowa, I think, in the Big Ten championship game and getting to the college football playoff for the first time ever. So he had to swallow a hard pill there in Ann Arbor.
He made a lot of changes. He got rid of the 4 of his older assistant coaches, brought in young guys, all under 40 years of age, and made sweeping changes with everything.
Right.
And you know what? More than anything else, Kenny, I give him more credit for that than virtually even the positivity of what it all produced for them.
Yeah.
Think about what you just said. For a guy who has been a successful head football coach, saying, I got to make all these changes. Well, okay, Andrew Berry. I mean, again, I kind of hope that's the tact you take, because I'm Kenny, I don't know, man. I just I don't know. And I think you hit on the thing that I'm with you. That's the first thing I would do. You need to go, if you want to stay the head coach for this football team, I need you to relinquish the offensive coordinator duties and we're going to go hire one.
And maybe we'll get you a quarterback and definitely draft you a wide receiver to help you out as well. But yeah, changes need to be made, Michael, because this isn't going in the direction we all thought it would with the Cleveland Browns. All right, final thoughts from you before we get out of here tonight on the R&R podcast. Yeah,
well, again, I'm as you can tell, buddy says I'm real concerned now. I've got a feeling that there's, let's just say, I won't say a greater chance of this going south in the last 5 football games, but I don't feel real good or real strong about this team turning it, Ken, with 5 games to go and getting themselves in position where everybody thought they would be. So I hope I'm dead wrong. I'll certainly say, boy, was I wrong about that. I'd love to be able to do that. I don't feel real good about it, Kenny. I think they have really tapped out with this thing. You got issues offensively. I think defensively, guys are going to start talking and becoming real ticked off at this whole thing. And I don't see a good final 5 weeks, my man.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, Michael. Here's the American Football Conference playoff picture right now. Baltimore, number 1 ranked team at 8-3. You've got the New England Patriots, Bill Belichick and a rookie quarterback and Mac Jones at 8-4 with the second best record. And they have the tiebreaker over Tennessee, who's also 8-4 because they just whooped them today. Kansas City starting to turn things around at 7-4. Those are your top 4 teams. The Bengals at 7-4, the Bills at 7-4, and the Chargers at 6-5 with tiebreakers. Those are your top 7 teams. Those top 7 would make the playoffs if the season ended today. After that, it goes Raiders at 6-5, Broncos at 6-5, Colts at 6-6, Steelers at 5-1, and finally the Browns at number 12 in the AFC at 6-6 with 5 games left. And the tiebreakers not in their favor. 3-5 in conference play so far, 1-2 in division play so far for the Browns. So if they want to guarantee themselves a spot in the playoffs, they got to go 5-0, and that ain't happening. If they just want a shot at getting in the playoffs, they got to go at least 4-1. And with the schedule that they have, and we gave it to you, who they have remaining on the schedule, Ravens, Bengals, Steelers. Let's see here. Hold on. I got the wrong sheet here. It's Ravens, Raiders, Packers, Steelers, Bengals. So I think 3-2, if they're lucky, more than likely 2-3. Could see them finishing 8-9, Michael Regai.
Wouldn't that be something? They finish under 500 this year?
Ooh, man.
Baby.
Yeah, after I had them going 11-6 and winning the damn division, they ain't even close. And people say, well, Roadman, they only lost by 6 points to the Ravens, and they're in first place. Yeah, okay. Ravens are 8-3. They find a way to win. Browns are 6-6. They find ways to lose. Yeah. And I'll leave it at that.
No, well, that's exactly right. And that's just being very forthright about the situation at hand right now. So, we'll see. Yeah, we got an extra week to get ready for the second go round with the Ravens. Yep. This time the Browns will get them at home, but just about every one of them now is a must win. They got to, especially the three, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati. You got to win those three. And not just those three aren't going to get you in, Ken, but you can't lose any of those in the division now. So those three, they better be 3-0. And that starts with Baltimore in 2 weeks, because if they lose to Baltimore, we don't even have to worry about the 5 weeks coming up, to finish it out. I mean, again, honestly, if they lose to Baltimore and fall to 6-7 in 2 weeks, that's done, man. You're done.
Yep. That next game is a must win. You lose that one, your playoff hopes are gone. History, sayonara, see you later. Forget about it. It's all over but the shouting at that point. Yep. All right, Reds. Well, we'll get the hell out of here on a late Sunday night. We'll talk midweek maybe about the Cavaliers. Hey, they're still hanging around 10-10. Evan Mobley's back for the Cavaliers. That's good news there. The Cleveland Guardians, they're selling merchandise for the holidays. They put up a sign again. This one didn't fall down, so that's a good sign. Maybe things are starting to go their way with the Cleveland Guardians. Maybe we'll even talk a little bit about their offseason so far, which has been uneventful as far as procuring talent from anywhere else outside their own minor league system. So we got plenty to talk about, including the college football playoffs too. Next week we'll see who wins the Big Ten and then see who those Final Four. If you were to say right now, Michael Rega, and we'll close on this. Right. Who do you think the Final Four college football teams will be? Who's going to make it into the college football playoff? Who do I think it
should be or will be?
Who do you think it will be when this is all said and done? Who do you think gets in out of what we're seeing right now?
Georgia, Alabama, Michigan, and as much as I hate to say this, Oklahoma State and not Cincinnati.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right. I think it's going to be Georgia, Michigan, Cincinnati, and Oklahoma State. I think Georgia beats Alabama convincingly enough to knock them out because Bama's struggled the last few games, right?
Right.
Needed 4 overtimes to beat Auburn in the Iron Bowl on the 2-point conversion crap. I think they're going to lose. Cincy's going to beat Houston. They're going to be undefeated. They're going to be the first group of 5 team to make it in. And I think Oklahoma State wins the Big 12, and they got to put them in, and they get the nod slightly
Baylor.
over Alabama.
It's going to be easy, but Oklahoma State's damn good, man.
But that's why I think they will get in because they'll beat Baylor, and that's a decent opponent, okay?
That'll make them 12-1. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's as much as Alabama's past history is great. Hey, you lost 2 games. You almost lost 2 others this year. Sorry. We're giving those other teams a chance. And I think it'll be good for college football not to have Bama in there. So I'm rooting for the Bulldogs to do that, to knock Bama out, to give at least one other team a shot. Notre Dame also is that wild card team too, Reg. They've only lost 1 game, and that was to Cincinnati. They got a shot as well. So that would be the team along with Alabama. Those are the 2 others, I think.
6 right now, right? 4, and then however you want to say it, you have Cincinnati in. I don't. You got Georgia. You got Alabama, you got Michigan, you got Cincinnati, you got Oklahoma State and Notre Dame.
Yeah.
It's going to be 4 of those 6. Nobody else need to worry about it or apply.
What about Iowa, though? What if Iowa knocks off Michigan as a two-loss team has ever made the college football playoff? Right. So we could potentially have the first group of 5 team make it and potentially a 2-loss team, either Alabama or Iowa, make it into the playoff, right?
Yeah, I would say if it's going to be a 2-loss team, Alabama's got a better shot because that they can tell me what they want. The College Football Playoff Committee wants Alabama in. And, now, like I said, if they beat Georgia, hell, they might wind up 1.
Yeah, very possible.
They very possibly could wind up 1. That would make them, 13-1? 12-1? Right. But anyway, So, those 6. Those are the 6.
All right. Well, we'll get into that.
I hope Cincinnati gets in. I just don't have a good feeling about it. I just don't.
All right, we'll tackle all those topics in the coming weeks here on the Red Guy and Rhoda podcast. Again, brought to you by Northfieldpark. Northfieldpark, your home for live and simulcast racing. Catch the excitement of live harness racing every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday evening with a 6 p.m. post time. And the great thing about it, free admission, free parking every day at Northfield Park. All right, Michael, great stuff tonight, my friend.
Absolutely, man. Always good to be with you again. Talk to you
Dave
soon.
Emmert, great job. And look for the Red Guy and Rhoda podcast here on the Press Play Podcast Network and wherever podcasts can be found.